I awoke to a warm dripping on my face. Senses reeling, I quickly scoured my memory for anything I could remember that would explain where I was. The last thing I could recall was knocking back my sixth ale after a reasonable performance. I had made quite the purse at the Little Boar. It was the only pub in a moderately sized town south of the wood. Revenant, I believe the name was. The only performing act they had in well over a month, due to the barricade to the west and the war in the wood. It seemed like easy pickings for someone of moderate talent to make a quick fortune off the boredom of the townsfolk. I shook my head to rip myself from my own thoughts, perhaps a little too hard, for my head split from the grog from the night before. I was not in the inn or in the stables, which is where you're likely to end up if you've had a few too many, and the keeper of the inn establishment wants to make an extra 3 coppers by double booking your room. I've learned this from personal experience from a time or two. I peered through the darkness that seemed to rob me of what was left of my wits, and noticed bars just beyond my arm's reach. I scrambled to my knees, a sudden fear crawling up my spine to reside as a permanent lump in my throat. I gripped the bars to try and add some stability to my senses, and got a feel for where I was. As my hands strangled those bars, and that fear started to turn into panic, I noticed the bars were swaying. Or was it my body rocking? I inhaled a breath of air around me, and tasted a briny salt-like aroma. I rocked backwards, landing creaking wooden planks. I'm aboard a ship. The first thing I had said aloud, and it came out more of a whiny gasp than anything else due to my befuddlement. "Aye, he's a quick one," I heard a voice from the blackness call out. "Who is that? Where am I? What am I doing here? How did I get here?" It all came out jumbling out almost too quickly to be audible. "My clan be Bouldershield, and me name is Dargwin. As to the rest, your guess is as good as mine." "I don't understand what's going on. A loss for what else to say." "And you're seeming to be at a loss for your manners, too, eh? We've gone and introduced myself, and you're still going on with questions I can't answer." He was right, of course. He seemed to be in the same situation, and yet I was expecting him to help me out and explain himself. "My name is Silfrin. I am from the Silverwood. What is a dwarf doing on a boat?" "I wouldn't be if I hadn't a choice, elf. And you're one to talk. Ye Silverwood is a trek and a half from Revenant." "We are both picked up in Revenant, then?" Trying to answer any questions I could assess the danger I was soon be facing. "What, you don't remember anything?" Darkwood seemed a bit surprised by my lack of recollection. "No, last thing I remember is drinking an ale after my last performance. You telling me that you missed the commons and all that fighting?" The voice was almost squeaking in nature. Both the elf and the dwarf were starting to think to themselves. The only occupants of the cells. The dwarven eyes went a shade of lavender as he scanned the room with his race's innate ability to switch to infravision. So, first few pages.